Good evening, everyone. Hope your day is being found as a blessing to you. My name is Samuel Lombardo, the CEO and Executive Director of SL Models and Talent Agency LLC, as well as the Executive Director for my nonprofit, V-Smart Vocational School of Models, Artists, and Radiant Talent. And this evening, I wanted it to do a video. I did promise you that I was going to do an improv of my story that took place, as this is my 7-year anniversary of that situation. But I actually want to do something before that. I came across an article that's from entertainmentcareers.net/resources/talentagencyscams.asp. Now, it is copyrighted by the Council of Better Business Bureaus. So the title of this article, coming from the Council of the Better Business Bureau, is called Talent Agency Tips: 3 Ways to Spot a Scam. Now, I'm going to let this article read for itself because I've pretty much said what I needed to say, and this is what we report a lot, especially those who are running their business appropriately and therefore have no means to scam anyone or try to manipulate companies into doing their way when they know that they are legitimately breaking the law. And this is 3 ways to spot a scam. That's kind of annoying. Anyway, 3 ways to spot a scam that I would like to share with you. And the point of this article is avoiding scams. So listen to this very carefully. Do you think you have what it takes to be a model or an actor? Many unscrupulous talent and modeling agencies will lead you to believe so. However, far too often, consumers are victimized by fraudulent agencies promising money, exposure, and stardom. There are ethical and legitimate talent and modeling agencies in the entertainment business. Before becoming involved with an agency, know exactly what they should be doing for you. An agency should be engaged in the marketing and booking of talent, just as I mentioned already before. Okay, and this is also backed by the Consumer Affairs article as well. Usually a state license is required to book work for a fee. Excuse me. So if there is going to be an upfront cost of any type of services you would need to have a license for that. The agent's role is to promote the talent who has contracted for their marketing services, negotiate the most favorable contract for the talent, and collect a commission from the talent. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little tricky because the agencies and even those that are set up with the union, so they have an agency fee and then they have the agent fee. The agent is the one that works for the agency, okay, and they have to have they actually have to have experience and connection to be able to book? Or what's the point of having that agent working for an agency if they don't have anything to book them? Or they don't have the experience to even get negotiations to be able to book. Most agencies that are legit actually know this rule, and there are times like I am in the process of being licensed because I have other fees for other things. I have to, there's coaching, consulting, etc. that we do, but I'm on a halt right now because I have to have the right documents to be able to do some of that. But I know other agencies, and we are in a collaboration where they are able to do that, and therefore, they can work that portion out, and we could just work as the agency. Well, that's what this is saying, that there are marketing services. So there's nothing wrong with having marketing services, because we have to have that kind of service for you. So even the Council of the Better Business Bureaus know that there will be marketing services. But if that is going to be the reason why they're signing, then you're taking the point of your agency away from the talent, and you're going with services, and you're not even realizing that you're throwing away the talent, because the idea would be all about marketing services. You have to have all three to be able to successfully run your agency, which is the agent's role is to promote the talent who has contracted for their marketing services, negotiate the most favorable contract for the talent, and collect a commission from the talent. That is your agent fee there that they are talking about. Your agency fee is the agency fee that you get from the client, but that is between you and the clients in that regards. And if the clients, here's the issue, if the clients do not pay the agency fee, by law, you cannot add fees to an agent fee. Just so that you're aware of that, because there are agencies that are doing that as well. You cannot add fees on top of fees already, and the artist would know that. Now, what is the likelihood of it being 20%? You can mark up your agent fee to 20%, and then you'd have to put 10% back into the business. That's how you would have to do that. But you cannot go and say, okay, it's so say it's $1,000 for the job. You cannot go and just pay the artist $700 without any consent that the artist knows that right from the get-go. Especially when you need to have a line item receipt. And one thing about SL Models and Talent Agency is that we will provide a line item receipt for everything, whether it's money going in or out, to anybody that needs any type of proofs of it relating to their work. So in this case, if the agency is not able to pay the 20% agency fee, then we would flat out do the 20% off of the work of the artist. Okay, and then what would happen is, at that point, the agent would get the 10%, but the other 10% would just go back to the agency. But it cannot, you cannot add 20 plus 10 to the artist if you run into that problem. It would be illegal to do so. Now, what you could do, if you don't want to lose the total amount, either way, it's going to be the same scenario. But you could do 15% and then just don't have no agency fee, but then you're going to pay the agent 5%. Okay, and then you just have 10% going back to the agency. You could do it that way as well, but I'm just being very clear and honest and how tricky this could be. So continuing on with the article, you should interview your agent as thoroughly as you would interview your doctor, lawyer, or CPA. Remember, the agent will be working for you, not vice versa. Okay, so the agent works for you. If you have to sit there and figure out how you gotta pay $1 to go and take care of these scenarios, there's a problem. It shouldn't have to be. Now, wait until we start reading from the points of view of the Council of Better Business Bureau. You're going to find out why it is that it is essential that agencies don't even have upfront costs. So be very careful. Listen to this. This is not my words. I'm literally reading it word for word from the article. That's copyrighted by the Council of Better Business Bureaus. Remember, the agent will be working for you, not vice versa. Carefully review your contract with your agent. This is your agreement regarding what the agent will do to earn the commission you pay. Okay? So you're entrusting an agent. Now, I will use the example with Cameo Models because they're affiliated with SL Models and Talent Agency. The 12 that are coming on board, or the 10, something like that, if I can remember, it was between 8 and 10 pro stars, pro models, should I say, that are going to be in addition to the roster here for SLMTA. Based off of the Zoom conversation, they would be entrusting me to do that. So it makes it a lot easier that SL Models and Talent Agency could just simply charge the 20%, agency fee, and the agent would actually just be me. So being that I'm already paying myself from working within the agency, first of all, it would be a little bit ignorant. So I would actually, at that point, for them, I would actually utilize the 10% that I would be getting as an agent, and then applying that to the agency that brought the talent to me. Because you have to understand, to make it fair, the logistics of legalities have already happened. There's nothing that you could do to change that. So the only thing that could happen is that I could share my agent fee with the agency that brought the talent on. But the reality would be they've already made their money by consulting upfront costs of all these individuals. So it unfortunately is why I'm even bringing this up and trying to explain that the business platform and things like that must be revised, must be in a way, in a shape or form that goes by the standards of the Better Business Bureau, of the federal government, of your state and local government, because this is a major issue. Now, that's not to say that every agency runs in a way of having upfront costs. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am trying to say is that the only way you can work as an agency to get the actual pro models and to work with talent that is ready is you're gonna have to go with conventions that have models that are ready, and you're gonna have to go with the unions where they already have went through and passed near stardom level. So you cannot wait till you hear this, because it's going to be very interesting. Like, it ain't just me saying this. So to help you detect fraudulent opportunities, the Better Business Bureau warns the disreputable agencies often. They often ask for upfront money, which may be called registration, consultation, or administrative fees. Legitimate agents work on a commission. They don't get any money until you get paid for doing the work they have obtained for you. So that means if they don't know how to give you work, then they shouldn't be your agent. That's as flat out honest as I'm going to get. Okay? If they cannot find the work for you, then they shouldn't be your agent. Now, that's why I have on non-exclusive contracts. Non-exclusive means that you have at least a year with the agency, and even if you do make any kind of money from any other agency or whatnot, it is, you still have a percentage that is owed to SLMTA, despite you working with another agency that did the bookings for you. And the reason for that is the fact, and we're actually going to change that, because we feel that, and just as I'm saying this, that would literally make it so wrong. Can you imagine if I asked for an agency to go ahead and book you because I'm not going to do it, and then all I'm going to do is have you keep signing contracts with my agency, have other people do my work for me, and then you're going to still pay me, even though that I'm not the one that's giving you the booking? That's not really good. The only way that this can actually be legal is if you are actually working together to do the bookings. And therefore, there's a negotiated amount that states this, this, and this. Now, let's take me as an example. If All Stars has a training program and they run as an agency as well, then they would end up signing a contract with me to actually book their talent. But the way that I would actually really do it is they would be getting 5% of the talent money. And the reason for that is because they actually have done everything they needed to do. But the reality is that because they have brought up the talent and everything, and that work is already done, again, according to the Better Business Bureau, I could just report the agency and they would come out there to investigate about what the agency is doing, because the reality is I don't technically have to pay that agency anything, because that agency, technically, there's nothing under legal statutes that state that an agency can go ahead and charge upfront fees and then expect some other agency to do the work for them. The reason for non-exclusive, the only reason for non-exclusive, and ask any other entertainment lawyer that you want to ask, okay, the reason that language is in there is for any particular artist or model who sees that they have any issues with the agency, number one, that they could find an exit out. But if it is related to their decision that they're exiting out, then they will be owing money to the agency for any bookings that there are. So there's that clause in there. And then the other reason for non-exclusive is to say, well, you had a year with us and you wasn't simply happy. So instead of renewing or whatnot, you would just move on to another agency. So that's why we, as SL Models and Talent Agency LLC, has non-exclusive and exclusive contracts. Okay? But they're not there to satisfy someone building a talent up and then expecting to go and take money from one side to another. If you're going to be running as a company that trains artists, then that is where your money comes from. That's what you're going to do. The agency has to make the agency money. And the agent needs to get paid. There is no such thing as some third-party agreement under legal terms that states that the agency is going to go throwing up some. Now, think about this, because I've been told this by 3 different agencies, and they didn't want to collaborate with me at all. And I've actually, for 2 of them, I actually reported them, because I knew exactly what they were doing. I knew the intention, and they were trying to manipulate me, and I wasn't going to go for it. But what happened was, they were an agency that builds people up for a convention, and this one happened to be for California or whatever. They wanted to build someone up to do to get ready for a convention in California. And what they were saying is, well, we can negotiate a contract fee where we get half of the agency fee and your agent can still get paid. I said, where do you see that being legal? Where do you see that being legal? How can you say that and if I'm reading their contract, the contract literally states it like this. You got 5 ways to get booked. It starts with an interview, it starts with your photographs, then it goes to training, education, then a website, and then you're signed. But it doesn't actually illustrate what they mean by signed, and when I got that contract, I saw what it meant, and what it actually meant is that you'd be signed by other agencies within the conventions that they were signed with. Well, guess what that means for me? That means that I'm an agency doing my work to be able to get your talent that you brought up, that you actually trained up, to go out to work. So therefore, who gets paid when that time comes? Not the agency before it, but the agency actually doing the work. So we gotta get this straight, folks, that what it really means under the laws, not made up contracts that are trying to manipulate loose intentions. It's not going to work. It just isn't. And like I said, I had reported 2 agencies already that was doing that. And I also found out through an entertainment lawyer that that whole thing about the 5 phase of getting signed is total bogus and garbage. Now, it would have been okay if they wasn't running it as a agency. I was told that. And that's why the people that I do care about, the ones that I'm actually collaborating with, okay, they realize that. They realize that they are for the betterment of the talent and the model. So it's not about all this other garbage. But there are agencies out there that are not taking the artist and the model serious. Praise God that I'm actually even able to see this article. And it continues on. Next bullet point. Pressure you to leave a check or a cash deposit or sign a contract immediately. Now, SL models and talent agency, even though, all right, now I'm going to use this as an example with Cameo models and SL models and talent agency. Those pro models know exactly how SLMTA now works. And therefore, before they're even signed with the agency, they're going to see that they have either been alarmed for an audition or being booked. In most cases, my biggest opportunity is that they would be getting booked, okay? But if there is a situation where they are going for an audition, then they have to still sign the contract. In other words, the audition or the booking from a client is going to deem them the signing. In other words, I want to win their trust, that they actually can trust SLMTA for what we are really about. That I'm not just sitting here passing out black smoke all over the place and this hot air. That I am being for real what I'm trying to do. All right. Continuing on, the agent may insist that you take acting lessons. That's a big one there. Believe me, I've been with an agency that did that to me. At a particular school or from a particular teacher, or may try to get you to buy expensive photographs, audition tapes, or other services or materials sold by someone he or she suggests. So even that, we even have to be careful of our collaboration, of how we are working this, because this is considered still fraud under the federal law dealing with the Council of Better Business Bureaus. So yeah, I may not have upfront costs, but I cannot even sit here and say, all right, so I suggest now that you could go with so-and-so over here, like George Clooney or whatever, and he's the best painter, you'll learn everything. And then here he is telling you, well, it's going to cost you $15,000 and you'll be signed tomorrow. No, it still is an illegal game, despite the intention. The only thing that I could suggest to really get out of this is we would have to say affiliates. Like, okay, my collaboration with the companies that I've been speaking about, we know this quite well. And therefore, we could be affiliated or what have you. A partnership, well, that may come down later on down the pipeline. But collaboration really is who is going to do what, pick up the weak part of the strength part from the other person or the agencies. And therefore, I may not be able to suggest that that particular school can do what, and then do that. But what I could basically already say is that we have a schooling system, okay? It's all about how you word things too. We have a schooling system that can work for you in the process of you being booked. But that may mean that you have to amend what your system is to where booking can be involved with the system. Does that make sense? So in other words, you might have 3 weeks of preparedness, and after that, you might want to put them out there and see if they can just go to an audition. It doesn't even have to be the actual booking, but just to get them to an audition is putting them out there and they're actually doing it. and it gives them something to work on. But you have to have real results from it. You can't just make it up and say, all right, so I got a camera guy, go ahead, start shooting. Okay, so you're a pro model now. we have to be able to, this is real, what I'm reading here. An agent's time should be spent finding work for his or her client, not selling products and services. Okay. The next bullet point, display pictures of, oh boy, I love this one. This has got to be the most hilarious thing ever. I'm going to just read this because it says exactly what it means. Agencies do this a lot. They display pictures of famous models and celebrities on the walls to make you believe they are represented by that agency, although they're not. Start taking them pictures down, because if someone like me is smart and knows how to get a hold of their, and believe me, I do know how to get a hold of certain agencies within the realms of this industry, and you can have a true embarrassment. Okay? It is true. But there are agencies out there that are doing this. Use names which sound, oh, this is another one. I love this one. This one's better than the one hanging on the wall. Because at least if you're hanging on the wall, if you ask them, that's actually funny, believe it or not. I went to an agency where they actually had a famous actor on their wall. And I would actually ask, do they know who it is? And they even stumbled upon themselves, let alone the receptionist. They had no idea what they were talking about. Anyway, this tops it all right here, this bullet point. Use names which sound similar to well-known agencies. Fraudulent companies will sometimes do this to give the incorrect impression that they are connected to a legitimate entity. Now, let me explain something. I've already told you about impersonation, and that SL Models and Talent Agency LLC takes that serious. But do you know what else this means? This is a copyright. This is a trademark issue. And then the term incorrect impression actually means false advertisement. Here's the next one. This is what real scam fraudulent companies do. You don't see any of that here. Now, if I move this over just a little bit, my picture that I have are of these beautiful little lion or tiger cubs. That's what I have. I have a little bit about like what my agency is and some fashionable expressions behind me. But other than that, unless I know that my talent became famous or that I am able to book a pro star, those photos, I have no authority to them unless I was granted permission for some odd reason or another. Even when I mentioned about the masquerade ball and I said that there are going to be 2 pop stars, that's all you know. And as of right now, that's all you need to know. Until things are set up in a right order. Why? Because I can be throwing the names out there and they're not really ready for that. That is not, there's no agreement yet. Now, here's another one. I love this one. This is the one that really, oh, it hurts. It really does hurt. But it actually, there is a lot of truth to this. They place phony ads in the help wanted section of newspapers that say something like new faces wanted for commercial, movies, or modeling, or claim that no experience is necessary. Wow. So, then what's an agency supposed to do? Let me explain some to you. An agency books talent that is ready. A school builds talent that has no experience. What do you think you're going to do? There's your answer. There should be no more explanation as to what needs to happen here. Now, could you have an education department or some sort or whatnot? Sure. But that's the whole thing. The whole thing in a nutshell is this. If you are running the school and you're looking for your own talent, then the way that you're going to describe it is, would you like the opportunity to be the next face in talent? Not, oh, come on in, we're needing new faces. I actually learned that mistake myself. I'm not going to lie, because I actually used that expression. And then I realized that that wasn't going too far. And believe me, it wasn't going too far. So now I could work with modeling schools and whatnot, and when they're graduating, I could say, okay, I'll book that one right there, or whatever the case may be. I mean, I'm actually starting to work a university program out right now where students that have been training for musicianships or acting or whatever the case may be, filming, I can actually take them from college, because if they are built up to be what they are, then that's it. The only issue that I have probably about college is the fact that the portfolios are a bit weird. But we have a way to handle the portfolio problem as long as they're willing to start off a little bit with pro bono activities that can give them a free portfolio. Because that is what we do with our beginner fashion designer companies. And when I say beginner fashion designers, I'm talking about fashion designer, like say me, I just all of a sudden decided I'm going to design clothes and I need models. They have the opportunity to actually do a photo shoot with my clothing. Simple as that. There are agencies out there that would even save the money, that if it's going to help the artist in the long run, they'll save the money and do the free photo shoot, and it will just brand them in the end. Yeah, there are agencies that will, not agencies, but fashion designers or whatnot, or advertising agencies that would be willing to do that. Why? Not only will it save them the money, but also they would love to try to help students who are already being in college and university, spending thousands of dollars to learn how to do all this right from the get-go. But if I'm looking at like a model school or a hairstyling school or a salon school or whatever the case may be, they already have like photos and portfolios and work, established things happening. So as long as you're a school and you say that you're a school and you're not an agency and you're not doing anything illegal, then I could take those pro models that you have developed and I can go ahead and start doing my agency work. That's how that works. All right, and then I just want to add this one little blurb that is underneath here, and then I'm going to be done with this video. Problems or complaints about an agent or an agency may be referred to the BBB, State Department of Licensing and Regulation, or Consumer Protection Agency in the city where the company is located. To obtain helpful consumer information on a particular agency, you will need to contact the local BBB that serves that particular city. And again, this article is copyrighted to the Council of Better Business Bureau, all rights reserved. And again, this is coming from entertainmentcareers.net/resources/TalentAgencyScams.asp. If you have any further questions for me, you can jot them down at the bottom of the comment section, and I will be more than glad to help you with it. But this is why I take these things seriously. I figured I'd just get right to the Better Business Bureau and the Consumer Affairs channel so you can see for yourself what I'm talking about, that it doesn't just have to be 2 hours of me chit-chatting. Until later, may you have a blessed night, and I will be seeing you soon with my improv video.